Dustin Diggs. With Dustin. The Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. Diggs.
All right, welcome to the Daily Dirt with Dustin Diggs. I got Keith Hafner on here tonight. DR is my co-host right now because we're pushing Girls Night Out is coming back June 30th.
Yes, y'all. So
I don't know if it's going to go live June 30th. We're filming 2 episodes. So I figured we might as well just get her some little airtime before we do all that. So
I know y'all missed me.
But Keith is working with the Pop Punk Pizza Party podcast, and that's a mouthful. With my buddy Kyle and Justin have been on the show. Great people. They are killing it right now. They are like on fire. I hear everybody talking about this podcast. I see it all over social media. So thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me here.
And also a treat. You brought your guitar and you're going to be playing some music.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
So you're a vocalist for the Cinema Story. I cut to it right here.
Yep.
As well as you do your own solo projects as well, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So what came first? I guess your passion for music came first, right?
Yeah. So just playing music first. The podcast has really just been, late. I think we started in September. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been something really cool. I wish I'd have started it forever ago. I
know. I wish I would have got it. And so I got it in 2020, end of 2020. It was
really
right after COVID. Right after COVID,
Okay.
and people were talking about podcasts and stuff like years before that. I wish I would have fucking did it. I would have got ahead of the curve.
Right. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. I didn't. It always seemed like fun, but then I'm like, this is fun. Basically, you just hang out and talk for an hour and you record it,
Well, that's why I was saying, I was talking about you guys as somebody on the show, and I was saying, you guys remind me of when we first started, like the first 6 months we used to do a podcast. It's the energy and like the excitement when I tune into your guys' podcast is kind of reminds me of what it was. Not that this isn't fun anymore. I love doing it, but it's just kind of like it's new and it's fresh to you guys.
Yeah. I think there's a good dynamic there too because there's 4 of us, so. Well,
that's what's cool about your podcast too. There's 4 people with 4 different backgrounds. One's a business owner. You have a music background. Kyle, he has a different background. So does Justin, right? So it's kind of a
so Todd's the other one for that one. Kyle's been on there quite a few times, but yeah, Todd's played music forever, as well. But he got out of music for a long time. So Chris doesn't know a lot of the older stuff that we knew, and then Todd has no in between. And Justin's the baby, so he knows all the new stuff and things like that.
Right.
So it's pretty neat. And Chris knows the pizza, he knows the food. So it's a pretty good team.
Yeah. When did you start? I'm sure you've been in a ton of different bands in your lifetime, probably. Being in music.
It's weird because all the other bands before the Cinema Story, just we never did anything. It was never as serious till we really formed the Cinema Story, and that's been going for 10, 11 years now. So I mean,
wow, okay, it's that long.
We took some breaks and stuff, but yeah, that one's just stuck. So that's really it. And then with the solo or stuff, we were just writing different stuff, and mine wasn't really fitting. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this whole acoustic thing, and my wife's a part of that as well. So that was just a different type of outlet, but that one's still going. So I don't really have a ton of bands that I was in, really.
Oh, really? Okay.
To count. I always wrote songs, but we used those for the Cinema Story and stuff too. So it's been kind of weird.
Where did the name Cinema Story? Because
so
sounds like a love story back in the 70s with I think there was
especially with cinema, because
right. There was I think there was a movie in the 70s called Love Story or something. I don't know why I think of that when I hear that.
I don't know. Well, it was really just so I wrote this song and it was about my wife at the time. So she wasn't at the time.
At the time,
she wasn't at the time. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pre-wife, but she was.
DR here. Hold on, she's gonna jump down.
But she was there. So I wrote the song and it was about a movie scene. So I was like, you know what? Let's name the band, because every song essentially at that point, because I was real, that's all I could write about. So I was like, this is all it's going to be about. So it's just the Cinema Story, I just thought it was neat too. So
yeah,
that's really it. Yeah.
So do you mind doing something right now for us, singing something? That way we kind of hear what.
Sure, yeah.
And then we'll kind of.
Yeah, I didn't really. Got to think of what to play.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have your number one song that you play when you go and show people?
So I used to play guitar in the band. So I wrote most of the stuff up until recently. I didn't write any guitar work. So anything new, Heart for a Pin is probably that's what I'll play here.
Okay.
That's one off our first full length album that I wrote, and I just always play. I always love that song. It was a lot of fun. It'll be coming out again. We released that in 2014. We pulled it off the streaming services because we're gonna re-release it in October, which will be 10 years. So you can't hear it right now, but I'll play it. Yeah.
Okay. So when you re-release the song, do you remix it or is it just?
We re-recorded the whole album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's everything because. We're in a little different spot than we were. Just no, we're all still in the same vicinity. We have a different band members. That's been really, I'm the only one that's been there from the beginning. But we've swapped. Andrew's been there a long time. Brennan, our drummer, he was only like 6 months later or something like that. So it's been, and then Hunter he's our guitar player now. He was the drummer early on. So so we're in a different spot. We were at a little different. We were a little more better at our stuff, I think. So I think
You're more seasoned.
Yeah. And when we went into that, we were just a 3-piece, and I was like, let's make it like real. So it's pretty raw, and there's not a lot of production to it. So we were like, let's do it. And what better time at 10 years? So that's it.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
We'll do a little test. We should have did this before the podcast. Sorry, I apologize. Just make sure the level on the guitar mic is low enough or high enough for you.
Okay, yeah.
I usually keep it mid.
We got a little out from the right here.
Oh. This Sunday on the Artist United Network, we have the Pucker podcast. Are you excited about that, DR?
Oh my God, I'm actually am, but I'm not excited for that feeling.
Yeah,
there.
Well, maybe if Keith is
it?
cool with it later, we'll at the end of the podcast we'll try some of the. Oh, I probably got to fix that frame. We'll try some of this sour candy at the end. It's supposed to be really sour, so. Are you good with sour candy?
Yeah, I like sour candy.
Okay. Well,
I don't handle it as well as I did as a kid. I love it.
I know.
Now I'm like,
difference.
Right.
it's weird, but yeah. So that sounds good in here. Where you're going to be, or once before you leave. Remember when we drove all night? We couldn't find our point, we just kept driving on. And there may be ocean between us, but it'll never break us, 'cause you'll always be my everything. Remember. There's nothing left for me here in this town. Once you get on that plane, we're driving down the road. You tell me it's not working out. Gotta let you know somehow. I promise me when you get where you're going to be, or once before you leave. Remember when we drove all night? We couldn't find our point, we just kept driving on. And there may be ocean between us, but it'll never break us, 'cause you'll always be my everything. Remember when we drove all night? We couldn't find our point, we just kept driving on. And there may be ocean between us, but it'll never break us, 'cause you'll always be. Remember, I'll stand outside your house all night if I have to, for you. I'll stand outside your house all night if I have to, playing this song for you. I'll stand outside your house all night if I have to, playing this song for you. So you remember when we drove all night, we couldn't find our point, we just kept driving on. And there may be ocean between us, but it'll never break us, 'cause you'll always be my everything. So let's just drive all night, we don't ever have to go back, we'll just keep driving on. And there may be ocean between us, but it'll never break us apart. You'll always be my everything. You'll always be my everything. You'll always be my everything. Remember.
There it is.
Yes. Oh, God. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Now I can't wait for the re-release. Like, yes.
October.
Yes, I'll be
It's
listening.
coming.
Well, you watch the movie The Girl Next Door, and it reminds me of like that 90s romantic comedy kind of stuff, American Pie. I was thinking of like American Pie imagery when you were singing your song.
Yeah, so
that's not an insult. I just
no. It's funny because you've seen this movie Say Anything.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, that's what this song is. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So that one's not like typically everything is like real personal. Everything's to me, but like that was just I took that movie and I was like, this would be cool.
Yeah, like
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
right. If you saw like those videos like on YouTube where there's like a tribute to the 80s, like a tribute to like 90s, like stuff like I could see that song being like, yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
so
think
that's cool.
That's good.
It's,
right?
that's good. It's good. I swear, because I like that. I like those movies
Oh, yeah,
because I
yeah.
grew up on those, and those were like movies I used to watch as a kid.
Oh, they're great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. What were you thinking?
Oh yeah.
of that song?
No, I was like, oh my God, his voice is actually amazing.
Oh,
You know,
I knew
sometimes
it-
you gotta play it off like, okay,
I knew his voice was going to be amazing because
Okay.
because people that you have a nice voice, talking voice, but usually people sound a lot better. You know what I'm saying, than singing voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what were you thinking when?
Oh, I legitly was thinking like a music video. Like I was picturing everything. Every time you were saying something, I was picturing it. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he literally like probably stood outside his wife's window or something like that, singing to her.
Oh no, I really.
Or how many times you sung to her when you made her mad, you just whip out your guitar and start singing.
Oh man, yeah.
You're assuming he
Sometimes.
makes his wife
See?
mad.
It does happen every once in a while. It's, it's been. Oh shit.
How long have you been married?
We've been together since 2009. So,
Uh-huh.
but we got married in 11. So yeah, 13 years.
Oh wow.
Well,
okay.
coming on 13 in October actually.
Did you
13
sing
years.
at the wedding?
I didn't. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That would have been amazing, singing to her while she walked down the aisle.
Yeah, I had my friends do it.
Oh,
Okay,
You
that's
know,
good
I
too.
mean, it's-
Okay.
Justin, the one here, his wedding I sang at, but he may not talk
Okay.
about it. Yeah, it is, but no, I didn't do mine.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys, I was looking while you were singing. You guys, there's there music videos out and stuff like that.
There is, yeah. So this is our old page that got hacked.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like so we started a new one. So if you go follow it, just follow the new one. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's upsetting because we worked really hard and then
Oh wow.
then it got hacked and we can't get it back. But
They won't give it back.
No, I've messaged him so many. Our drummer got hacked essentially, so he got hacked. They went in and deleted pages and like removed everybody from admins from all the pages, and we can access Instagram or Facebook through Instagram because they were linked.
Oh,
Okay.
But we can't actually get on our Facebook. So I was like, finally, when we kind of came back, I guess, this year, and I was like, let's just make a new one because it's how you tell everybody anything anymore,
Right.
you know?
that's why on my page I'm scared to put anybody else as an admin. I have a backup thing for.
Don't put my drummer.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I'm not going to put your drummer.
No, he doesn't even have a Facebook anymore. He was like, I'm just done with it. So, yeah.
I give up.
But yeah, I was like, hey, I texted him that morning. I was like, did you remove me? Like, no. He's like, I can't access it either. And that was it. That was it. But we do have music videos and stuff on there, which check them out. You know,
Okay. But so people should check out like a YouTube channel or something for it? Or?
So we have this thing where we forget our passwords for YouTube. So I don't know.
man.
So we don't have like a direct one, but they're all over YouTube, you know?
Yeah,
just,
okay.
Just find them somewhere. Like I started putting them under my profile now. So that way I know where they are. Yeah. But yeah, when you got 4 or 5 guys controlling the thing and they're like, nobody knows the password, you know?
Right.
So
That's
it
why,
happens.
yeah.
And it happens with 2 people too, because we
Yeah.
forget our password all
Honestly,
the time.
you
When
guys
it's not
always
out.
forget your
One
password.
person a lot of times. But yeah, so
Oh, that'd be a nightmare.
It's out there, though.
That'd be a nightmare if that happened to our network page.
Oh,
it's,
Because
man,
we
it's,
don't get any traction anywhere else, really. So,
right. And it's just like, it just sucks because you're like, it's out there still. And it never turned to spam, which is weird. I just assumed they'd be selling shoes on there or something. you
yeah.
know? But
Yeah.
no, nothing.
Oh.
Just gone. I think they were just like, fuck these guys. You know?
Right. So they didn't put any kind of
Probably
spam.
an enemy.
No spam at all on there?
It could be. No, no, not at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Remember Keenan got hacked? We had a friend that got hacked.
We had a couple people who got hacked.
Sending me all kinds of weird stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Just 2-factor, everybody. 2-factor.
right.
Don't be gullible with
That
these
too.
emails and these messages from people that you don't know.
Well, Whitney Houston messaged him and he was like, ask, no.
Wait, say, are you dead?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was just trying to think of somebody really popular and I picked somebody who wasn't here. Yeah.
That was a funny one, though. That was good.
But yeah.
So, let's talk more about the music. So, writing a song, like when you wrote that song, obviously we gave you our own interpretation, what we thought. What was like when you wrote that song, and talk about the process. How do you come up with songs?
So it's changed a little bit. Well, basically like early days of this band and just in general, I would just on my acoustic just come up with some chords and just have a song. A lot of times I'd have lyrics somewhere, you know, just jotted down, and then I'd be like, oh, this is feeling, you know, I'm feeling this, so I'd put it there, and things. But now we just demo like music, and then I'll get it, and I'm just supposed to write lyrics to it, and then we kind of adjust as we go. But it's kind of a weird thing. Back in the day, I would just record it on my phone on my acoustic guitar, send it to them, and they'd put it into regular music, I guess, or like electric, and put drums behind it and things like that. Yeah, that's we just have a whole folder of just ideas that I'm just like, oh, you know, I'm feeling this one today, so that's what I'll write to.
It's next to the passwords.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? That's where we should have put it. That's where we should have put it. But no, that's really the process. And then for like my solo stuff, it's just that's still it. You know, I'm doing that, and then I'm like, oh, piano. You know, I'll listen to it, and I'm like, piano's good here or whatever. And then I have a guy who's recorded drums for me, and the guy who recorded me plays bass and usually throws some shreds in there and stuff. So. Basically they're just feeling it. There's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated with like musicians because I can't play music at all, so it's always kind of a fascinating thing for me.
Lyrics are just whatever's feeling, you know.
Yeah. Do you ever make lyrics for a song and then maybe like 5 years later change the lyrics around on the song?
I've never actually changed them, but there's
Yeah.
been times where I'm like,
Why did I write that?
yeah. But then I'm like, it's kind of like it's a moment.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, if it's never been super cringe, so I've been okay with that, you know, but there's times where I'm like, maybe I'll, you know, sing it just a slightly different word or something like that, but I don't want to change it too much. But there's some songs where I'm like, I don't really want to play that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, just things change and feelings change, I think. And that's the other thing, which is good and bad with it. Cause like, it's a good outlet. So if you're mad, if something happens, like it's out there, but then it's out there.
Yeah.
And you're like, and if people like it, you're like, you gotta play it.
Right.
And then maybe, you know, you change from there. So like from this album, there's a few things out there that I'm just like, do I? But I will still do it because now it's the moment in time, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. I just went in a circle, but
No,
No,
it
that
does.
was
Yeah.
sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
When do like because I could tell you the time I knew I didn't have a good voice is when I did karaoke one time and I heard myself.
is that you too?
That happened.
Yeah,
She wrote me a note. She's like, you know,
Yeah, you just don't do that again.
right. When did you know that you had a really nice voice? Like,
So I still don't think I do. I just like,
I think you do.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But basically, when I was just really into music, and I was like, I want to do that. But then I couldn't play guitar. I couldn't play anything. So me and my friend were like, we found some people, and they were like, oh, and so that's just.
Oh, that's how you got pulled into it then. Huh?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I like this, and I like the attention. So of course, I'm okay with being the, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
being the singer. But yeah, it was kind of weird. I've always been super shy and like, I wouldn't sing in front of anybody for the longest time. And then I was like, I want to do this, and really, this is my only way to do it. And luckily, I guess I was okay at it, so I just kept doing it, and that's it. Yeah.
So I have a question for you, because I know a lot of like people when they perform, they like say they transform into like another person, or they like embody somebody else when they get on the stage. Does that happen to you? Because like, do you separate yourself from like your performing self?
No, I don't think so. I think it's weird. It's like there's no feeling like being on stage. I think that's one thing. And when you're up there and you're into it and everything, I've played these songs a million times, but every time we play them, it's just like, this is so much fun. It's like you're there, but you're just let go. I think that's the best way to put it. There's no reservations like you would be, and you may not be fully like just let go, whatever, but on stage you're just like, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. It's like
Yeah.
maybe having like 3 or 4 beers in you. Maybe you know.
That's kind of what it's like. Yeah. Which, typically we do take shots before we go, but like,
Hey, liquid courage.
it's
hey.
like, but yeah, it's weird. And I'm older now, so I talk to people like just getting in it, and they're like, you get nervous still? And I was like, not a bit. Like the worst part's like leading up to it, because I'm like, what do I do until I get on stage?
Yeah, I can feel that.
So like, I hate playing last because it's like you gotta wait around, and I'm like,
But people remember you if you're last.
yeah.
Like they walk away listening to you, and you're the last person.
You're the last
they
person.
heard.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I've been to local shows that I get real upset with that people like come for their band and then
And
they
then
all
they'll leave.
fucking
Yeah.
leave, and
So-
then by the time the last performer,
It depends on what kind of show it is.
yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, I don't like third's like right there because you got both sides of it. But I don't know where I was going with it, but yeah, and I'll have fun leading up to it, but I'm just waiting for it, so I don't like going because I'm trying not to talk that much, because I'm like, this will be the day that I just can't sing or something when I get up there. But no, it's fun.
have you guys ever opened up for a pretty big band before? Have you guys done pretty
yeah.
big shows?
So I think the biggest, like, and probably for us, and just the crowd was pretty good size. There's been a lot of different ones, but the Spill Canvas, we opened for them. And that was at the Firebird. That place was pretty well full. And that was one of our favorite bands, still one of our favorite bands. So that was super cool. Probably the biggest was, before they got big, was Paris. I don't know if you know Paris is, but
I heard the name.
we played with them in October, December, somewhere in the fall, winter, and like 8 people in the room at Food Bar. And then that summer at Warped Tour main stage, and it was just the whole parking lot was full.
Wow.
So, man, I wish that had happened like 6 months prior. But but that was the biggest, just not at the time. But there's so many like not big bands that are coming through that we were like, yeah, we'll play because we like their music. So those are some of my favorite ones. Yeah, I don't.
I guess when you're picking somebody you're going to work with, it's more of like, our audience going to share the same likeliness?
Yeah, that too.
Right.
So we gotta, we had to find that, because I don't feel like we're directly up any alley, right? We call ourselves pop punk, but we're a bit on the everywhere, and I don't think we're really typical pop punk either. So there's not everywhere we fit in, and but I felt like that was a good one. But I've met so many good bands and just people just traveling through that needed an opener, and they weren't very big. So those are my favorite, but the biggest one was probably Spill Kings.
Right. When you play for a band, like, could you tell that band had something that was going to pop? Like, because you said you played with them 6 months before. Was there something about it?
When they got a little bigger, they went more just electronic and didn't really play like guitars, but their guitarist at the time was incredible. He has our demo, actually. Like, we traded. I won that trade for sure. And then her voice was just like nothing I had heard, really. Like, it was just so powerful and like really good. Their music was so good. It was yeah. I mean, I was like, I love this. I'm gonna follow these guys, but I didn't expect them to really blow up, I guess. It's hard to tell because, it doesn't just take talent. There's so much that.
Well, it's what you're saying, the people, it could be, they'll have to get along, right? I mean, they have to stick out for the long haul. I mean, at least till they get the record done and do the first tour, right?
Yeah. And that's tough too.
Yeah.
You got to find the right people.
Right.
So, and as far as just, is that kind of what you were meaning, like with the band? Like, okay. Yeah. Andrew, our guitarist, like, we write really well together. Like, he's a great guy. Like, we're friends. And I think that's helped a lot too. Like, we're, so that's been huge. She's been there from pretty well the beginning. And then Brennan, it was weird how we met him. He was just this good drummer that's band. And I was like, okay, I guess he is. And he came over, he just blew me away. He was so good. And then we've become friends over the years. But I think early on, you just have to have the same sort of vision, I think, or and realize your role, right? I think that's a big thing. And I think some bands don't do it, and I think there's and there's people that you get along better with. Like, everybody knows exactly what they do in the band, and you don't really try to step over the other part, and that's just the way that's the best.
Everybody kind of knows their lane. That's what we try to do with our film stuff. We try to make lanes for everybody to follow, and so like, and you can be like, hey, how's this, but everybody takes care of their own thing, and you just kind of know. It's weird. I don't know. I've just found the right guys. Obviously, we switched over the years, so those people have changed. But for the most part, I've found the right guys to play with, and it's been awesome. So that's how I kind of feel with your pop punk. I have it written down. That's what
it's right there.
Pizza
Pop Punk Pizza Party Podcast.
I have to look cool. I have to look cool, so I got these glasses on, so it's hard to see. But I've just met Kyle and Justin, and I can just tell, like, you guys, I can see how you guys gel really well together. Because you guys kind of. There's not like and of course I just met you 45 minutes ago, but there's not like an egotistical thing about you. You're really calm and collected.
You hear that, Justin?
Humble.
So
I just feel like
well, he puts on a good front, Justin. I don't know, but I'm just saying it seems. But even the other two guys,
it's really and we have behind the scenes just struggles while we figure each other out, but Justin, it's funny. So I met him. We played a show together. He was probably in high school. I think he was. And his band, I was like, these guys are really good. And basically, I don't know, took him under our wing. You know what I mean? And so Justin's just been there the whole time. And he's an easy punching bag, so we definitely keep him around, you know. And he knows his role. He's like, hey, I'm just gonna take shit. but no, we all do. And Chris is the pizza guy. You know, he's the guy we talk to for food, and most of the time the business. You know, he runs a business every single day. So we looked in for that. Todd's got weed.
That's good. We don't have a
You
guy.
gotta have that.
Well, we don't have a guy in our group that's weed, so we.
Man,
we
maybe borrow Todd, but
Yeah.
no, it's just weird. Everybody's just kind of got their own thing. And Justin's really good at social media, and just like he's a very outgoing person. Like, so he takes care of that stuff. And
So give him your passwords.
he has them.
Okay.
He has them. Yeah. So hopefully they're safe with him, because he might try to send somebody money or something too. You know.
Right.
But yeah, it's everybody's just got their own thing, and I think that works the same way. So, and Justin is funny too, because he's like, we should start a band together, and I was like, I don't think we can do that because the same thing. I was like, we're both singers, and I don't know, I didn't know if it would work, and he's like, but we did a bunch of interviews. We did a couple interviews together, and he was doing for my Notes for Hope. He was doing a bunch of interviews for those bands that were playing, and I was seeing a lot of them, and I was like, oh, this looks neat. I did one, and he's like, let's start a podcast. And I was like, okay, let's do it. We'll see how it goes. You know, it's a podcast. It's not a band. You're not going to invest at the beginning as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, there's no songs that are going to go to waste. There's nothing like that. So we did it, and we're still going, like 9 months in. So,
it's good.
Still don't think we play music together, but we have a good podcast.
You ever tried anything?
Wait, so have there? Oh,
No, go ahead.
so like there's no like band with like dual singers or no?
There is.
Well, Linkin Park, right? They have like, but one guy's like a rapper, and another guy's a singer,
there's like Tate Mac Sundays, real big. You know, one of those big ones. But there's a lot. I think you have to in our band, Andrew. You know, I do most of it, but Andrew does a lot of singing too. But also Andrew knows he plays guitar, and like that's the. I don't know. And we might, but we both have big egos. He won't admit it, but we both do, and I think that's the fight that we would have. I don't know, and I like to control the music part too. You know? It's me. It's not him. It's me.
Well, maybe if I was a singer, I would feel your.
It's a control attention thing. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I forgot where I was going to go with the next one. So you brought up Notes for Hope, which is so I did want to talk about that. I did check out that page. I'm going to click on it here. This is something like a charity that you put together, right?
Yeah, me and my wife. So yeah, it's an official nonprofit charity now. We started back in 2014, actually. So this would be 10 years. Oh, nice. 9th show, but 10 years. We took a year off, but. We were like, I don't know so Farmington used to have a big music scene back in the day. And then it was dead. There was nothing going on. And we'd have to come up here and play all the time. And it was a little bit of a drive. And getting people to buy tickets, things like that. So we were like, let's do something at home. I figured out the venue, and I was like, we don't really care about money. So let's use that money for something. And then my wife was like, hey, let's do this. And she was like, Notes for Hope. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then it was just, and all the money we raised, we donated that first year to Write Love on Our Arms, which is another organization that deals with suicide prevention and awareness. And it went off really well. So we're like, let's do that again. So we did that next one. And then it just felt like something we were going to do all the time. So we did those every year. And then eventually we were like, hey, we're donating all this money. Like, why don't we keep it in the community, you know? So we decided to make it a full-on nonprofit charity so we could kind of invest that in the community. Because they're doing great work, like those organizations, right? But it's not affecting my neighbor, you know what I mean? Not necessarily.
Right.
Or basically it's geared towards like high school kids, middle school kids, you know what I mean? So, or younger generation. So that's what we did. We wanted to do that, and then we've got so many different things that we want to do that we're trying to raise that money for. We still do the show every year. And that money goes in the bank. We do whatever. We've had a few donations for guitars, and we bought a few where we've given away to like kids who can use some sort of outlet.
So
that's cool.
The nonprofit it gives kids like instruments and stuff like helps like
So that's
upcoming.
That's a project in the
making.
So we've done it before. We want to do all there's so many ideas that we have, and we that's what we've been able to do so far. Because for us, Amber is another one that we brought in. She's